Ted manipulated his own kids. Fans think he didn't tell a love story. He ran a con on his own teenagers. The framing device is a man talking at his kids for 9 years, and the mother's name is literally in the title, but she's barely in the show. Fans point out Ted keeps circling back to Robin in every episode, every callback, every single time the story could wrap up. He finds a reason to bring her up again. The mother shows up in the final season and dies almost immediately. Then, it's Ted at Robin's window with the blue French horn from their first date. He kept it the whole time. Never mentioned, never explained. Supporters say the kids look completely unbothered at the end because they were prepared for it across 9 years of story time. The theory says the whole thing wasn't a memory. It was a pitch. 2 teenagers slowly conditioned to accept an ending before he ever asks the question. He never explains why the story starts. He just starts telling it. Fans think that's not an accident. The neighborhood was always the torture. The theory says Michael didn't mix up the files. He built the torture around these 4 people specifically. Eleanor's anxiety about not deserving good things. Chidi's paralysis from overthinking. Tahani's need for validation from people who will never give it. Jason existing near all of them at the same time. Fans point out the combinations are too precise to be random.
What?
They tricked me.
Eleanor's guilt makes Chidi worse. Tahani's name-dropping makes Eleanor feel small. Chidi's indecision makes Eleanor spiral. Jason makes everyone lose track of what they were doing. Supporters say a random bad person mix doesn't do that. A designed one does. Fans think Michael didn't get unlucky. He got exactly what he built. The show confirmed it. Season 1, Episode 1. Fans got there first. Ron Swanson may be living under a false identity. Supporters point out Ron didn't just disappear from his old life. He may have built a completely new one. Both ex-wives named Tammy. One works at the library, which Ron treats like an active criminal organization. The other works at the IRS. He refuses to exist on paper, keeps no bank accounts, has no digital footprint, and buries gold in locations only he knows. He once shredded a government document and ate it in front of witnesses without explaining himself. Multiple woodworking identities under completely different names. No social security number ever referenced on the show. The theory says he ran from something, built a new identity, and buried himself in the most invisible local government job he could find, the Pawnee Parks Department, where nobody checks anything. Supporters point out the show never once explains where Ron came from before Pawnee. No hometown, no family mentioned, no history before the job, nobody asks. Fans say that's exactly the point.
I was 5, but the quality of the wood was...
Abed actually knows he's in a TV show. Fans have been building this theory since episode 2. He references TV tropes in real time, announces genre shifts before they happen, identifies redemption arcs mid-arc, breaks the fourth wall constantly. Nobody treats it like a problem. The theory says Abed genuinely perceives the structure of the show he's inside. Supporters argue that's the only explanation that holds across 6 seasons. He knows when they're in a bottle episode. He knows when paintball escalates. He calls the third act before it starts. He names the genre of an episode while it's still happening. Season 3. Abed looks directly into the camera. The editing holds on it. Longer than it should. Fans say that's the show looking back at him. Toby is the Scranton Strangler. Fans have been building this theory for years. Stack the clues. The Scranton Strangler is a real running subplot. Someone gets convicted. Dwight thinks it's the wrong person. Toby ends up on the jury, votes guilty fast. Specifically to get off jury duty faster. Then he visits the convicted man in prison alone, comes back visibly shaken, and tells nobody what happened. Ever. Fans point out Toby's entire personality functions as a cover. Awkward, invisible, nobody watches him, no alibi ever discussed, obsessed with true crime, volunteers for a strangling case jury in his own city. The theory points to Michael, whose hatred of Toby is irrational and physical across 9 seasons without ever being explained. He just reacts. Every time. Supporters say the gut knows something the brain won't admit. Phoebe knows the show isn't real. The theory says that's not a writing quirk. Phoebe grew up on the street with no family and no stable history before the show starts, and fans point out she materialized into this group with perfect timing and almost no backstory. The rent makes no sense. The couch is always free. 6 adults together every single day for 10 years, and nobody questions any of it except Phoebe occasionally says something too self-aware, and then immediately walks it back before anyone notices. Supporters say she's the only one who sees the seams. She got there somehow, decided to stay because it's warm and the couch is free, and every once in a while, something slips out. The theory says she's used to covering for it. Kramer was never actually broke. Fans think the broke neighbor assumption was never actually true. Never works, never explained, nice apartment, dresses well, funds elaborate schemes without hesitating, has celebrity access and studio connections and endless free time with no visible income source. Fans point out Kramer's backstory is almost completely blank. He references legal settlements casually, once received a check large enough to briefly make him uncomfortable, and then immediately moved on and never brought it up again. The theory says he has a trust fund or a settlement, something sitting there quietly, and supporters argue money was genuinely never his problem across the entire run of the show. The broke neighbor assumption was never actually stated on screen, just assumed by everyone around him. Not broke, just chaotic. Fans say every scheme, every disaster, every catastrophic business idea, he didn't need any of it, he just wanted to. Nick Miller is pretending to be broke. Fans think the broke thing is a personality, not a situation. Nick owns real equity in the bar, published a zombie novel, has a storage unit full of cash he tapped to fund a bar renovation, and once casually mentioned a personal lawyer on retainer without flinching. Fans point out that every single time Nick gets called broke, he still funds whatever actually needs to be funded. The theory says he understands money completely and just decided to be unbothered by it, and supporters argue that level of unbothered is only possible if you actually have enough. The storage unit cash alone ends the argument. Nobody keeps that much cash in a storage unit because they're struggling. Wanda built herself a sitcom prison. Fans say Wanda didn't pick the sitcom format because it feels safe. She picked it because it's the only format where nothing permanently goes wrong. Problems reset, nobody stays dead, every episode ends okay. The theory says she didn't just recreate Vision. She built a reality where grief has structure, where loss has a laugh track. Supporters point out she breaks the format constantly, the edges keep showing. She's always slightly aware something is wrong. She forces it back into place every time anyway. Fans think she knows exactly what she built. Outside of it, the people she loves stay dead. That's it. What if Wanda wasn't escaping reality? What if she was trying to replace it? Morty's just a young Rick. The theory says the relationship isn't mentor and student. It's a loop. Fans point out Morty gets smarter every season. More cynical. More detached. Processes trauma exactly the way Rick does. Makes harder calls faster. Starts finding the adventures less meaningful. Less funny. Starts sounding like him. Supporters say Rick isn't teaching him anything. He's watching himself from an earlier point. Somewhere in the multiverse, there's a Morty who kept going, kept losing people, and ended up exactly like this. Fans think Rick knows what Morty is going to become. That's why he keeps him close. Not just out of love. What if Rick isn't mentoring Morty? What if he's watching himself happen all over again?